Oscar-winning filmmaker Ang Lee is here. For the past 10 years, he has directed such memorable and diverse movies as Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, Sense and Sensibilities, The Ice Storm, and the groundbreaking Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. His latest film is yet another change of pace. It is The Hulk, based on the popular comic book character. Here is a look at the trailer for the film.
We're gonna have to watch that temper of yours.
The film opens nationally on June 20th. I am pleased to welcome back to this table Ang Lee. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Great to see you here.
Great to see you.
Now, why are you... This movie costs more to make than all the movies you've ever done in your life.
10 times more than all of them put together.
So why are you making... We'll talk about it and how good it is, how tough it was to make it and what went into it, but Ang Lee making a comic book character.
I guess I'm reaching my midlife and about...
This is explained by a midlife crisis?
It's about time I touch my alter ego, so to speak.
You want to touch your earlier self?
I call it my new green destiny, my American hidden dragon.
Yeah.
It's just a very exciting project when I heard it. And when I said it's time, not only I'm prepared for it to rip myself apart, whatever, I was allowed to do a big movie that's personal. And
a big movie that's personal. We know what's big about it, which was the budget and the character and the huge
summer,
comic and all summer release and all that. What's personal about it?
Well, he's the alter ego. He's the subconsciousness, so to speak. It's something very hard to do in a big movie, and that sort of forced me to Hulk out. To Hulk out as a cinema person, as a human being, because there's probably not such a thing. It's very unsettling. It's enigmatic, and of course it's big and green. And how do you stretch the audience beliefs so they also can invest the real emotion, which I usually do. That's what I do. How can I stretch that range as a filmmaker? So that's personal and subconsciousness, and doesn't have a logic, and I have to allow that to happen. On the same time, I'm a big boy now. I have to deliver a summer movie. It has to play a certain pattern.
It was time for Ang Lee to make a summer movie.
Yeah, but in my kind of way. Personal also means that I want to attend every little detail, like how I used to make movies.
You sort of anticipated the question I was going to ask you. Tell me how this is an Ang Lee movie. What is it about? How would I recognize
it's a psychodrama.
It's a psychodrama. Right.
It's about repression and release of repression, exhilaration. That's not new to me. I do it from first movie on to Sense and Sensibility to basically repression. You have to come to terms with people. You have to close yourself up. You have to deny your really urge and need. And in the meantime, you have that primal impulse, the life forces, the Hulk in you, the alter ego, that keep us alive, energetic, and that has a lot of aggression in it, and frightful in the same time. So that's something I always deal with, except in a more civilized, minor manner. Yeah. But I always love to do drama, Western drama, and put my 2 cents of yin and yang and a Chinese point of view into it, just naturally. And I'm a forever film student. I like to explore different ways and means of making movies and learn how people do this and that. That's all very attractive to me.
What was the biggest challenge of this?
Bring Hulk alive.
To make him what? Make him
humanized.
Humanized. Yeah. In other words, create somebody that somebody
you can
could
identify with as a human being.
Who was as big and large and as powerful and as invulnerable as he was.
Yeah. That's the hardest thing for animator to do, to bring continuity and the performance.
How did you do that? By what?
I did it myself. Yeah. It turns out that I have to show them how to do it. First facially, then I put on a suit.
Yeah.
And perform.
You put on a suit?
Yeah, I'm the Hulk.
You are?
Well, Bruce Banner is Eric Banner plays
but the one who's...
For the one who's 10-month commitment to build little by little. I have to participate hours a day to make it happen, make sure the performance is what I meant, what I said. The scenes were already cut it before we even put the Hulk in. So I have to demonstrate how it was done. Eventually, I just Hulk out and I do the performances and look at myself, like, is that myself? And start to criticize about it and direct him like a director. And gradually we bring him to life. You know, him being big and green, there's never real reality in it. I have to create a whole movie as the Hulk, as the Hulk experience, as a modern day myth, to stretch that belief.
Why is he green?
I was green in the comic book. As a matter of fact, the first issue he was in gray. He was a nocturnal creature. It's like Wolfman. It's not even rage that bring him to be the Hulk. Then gray was not very friendly with printing art back then, so they make him green. It happens to be my new green destiny.
What's the scientific basis behind the creation of the Hulk?
In the book, it was just a gamma radiation. Then he changed. To me, it takes more because I invite the audience to invest real emotions, and movie being photography, I have to bring certain realism. So the scientist has to talk like scientist. So I sort of made up some pseudoscience and have a science advisor that made them science right. We brought in, and actually at first James' idea, the writer's idea to bring in nanotechnology. We have to update what was cool back then in the 60s, which is nuclear test, gamma bomb, all that. Cold War era, bring that anxiety and technology to today's. And after all, it's really Frankenstein. Genetic engineering, and then the traumatic experience, and the rage is unbottled, what is the effort of covering it, and then...
Take a look at this. This is a clip. This is where Talbot, played by John Lucas, and Bruce, played by Eric Bana, they meet for the first time. Here it is.
You know, someday I'm going to write a book. I'm going to call it When Stupid Ideals Happen to Smart, Penniless Scientists. In the meantime, Bruce, you will be hearing from me.
The summer movie appeals to all ages?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I do want to show respect to children, like my kids. They saw some of it before the movie was made. And I asked their opinion, and they're saying, like, my 12-year-old saying, like, you have to give more credit to the kids.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. And he was annoyed. We've shown to some kids the intensity do draw their attention. I'm not sure about, like, very small kids. It might be too intense, it sounds too loud. I hope the movie touches all kinds of inner Hulk people feeling.
The idea of casting, you casted, Eric Bana.
I want somebody who's carrying the inner Hulk, unlike a wimp in the comic book, so he can get your attention for 2 hours as a leading man, and a fresh face. So Eric is...
You wanted a fresh face.
Fresh face.
Yeah.
Compelling, good-looking, but has the inner Hulk quality.
Now, what do you mean by inner Hulk quality?
Intensity, like Hulk.
Yeah.
So intensity.
Jennifer Connelly.
She is the no-brainer.
That's
choice.
easy. Beautiful Mind.
Like, it was before Beautiful Mind.
Because she's...
Like everybody
you saw her
thought
before
of her.
Beautiful Mind.
Before, basically. I know. I follow her work and Requiem of the Dream. And by that time, she just finished shooting, making Beautiful Mind with the studio. It was a no-brainer. It's easy.
Because you wanted her to show what both...
Intelligence
for
beauty, heart, everything you want from the character.
And captivated by the Hulk.
Yeah, the warmth and,
All right.
The beauty.
And Nick Nolte,
who
plays the...
He's a brilliant actor. I love his work. And it's a very messed up, complicated, crazy character who's giving all the Shakespearean lines.
This is the father.
The father.
Right. Who creates the son.
I want an actor that I envision him doing, because he's an actor. He can do all this brilliant, crazy stuff. Yet have sympathy for him, and you don't hate him. So
why is that? Because you want to hate him because he's...
Yeah, but I watch Nick Nolte. He's only bring complexity, not hatred. So I thought he would be a perfect person to portray that role.
Roll tape. This is where Nick Nolte tells Betty, Jennifer Connelly, that his son, and the one she liked so much, is unique.
Don't be sorry. My son is unique. That's why you can't relate to him. And because he is unique, the world will not tolerate his existence, will they? But you try, don't you?
What's interesting about this part of it, I mean, is that you're dealing with a comic book character, and yet you have these very real people who are relating to this character, and who are brilliant actors who therefore pull it off. They have enough credibility.
Something in common, though. They have not only that, but they have something in common that I chose them. I can sense the inner Hulk in them, just on the look, the way they carry the scenes. They has that potential. I think everybody dealing with the Hulk, they're dealing with their own inner demon or monster or something. So I was particularly choosing the cast that you feel the Hulk is everywhere. That intensity they carry, the brilliance they carry, something larger than life.
Some say that the Hulk is the most difficult CGI created character ever made.
I believe so.
Why is it difficult? This is just a big guy.
It wouldn't be as difficult if I don't want the audience, I don't care for audience to associate with a human being.
Yeah.
Yeah. Humanize in computer world that I learned, I didn't know. It's good that I'm innocent about the technique before I start out. The hardest thing for them to do is humanize something, let alone put him green. Because
So
once he's a green, he's not believable as a human being. So how do you make that happen? It's hard for me dramatically. It's hard for ILM to create him.
Yeah, and they
I'm so
So
proud
how did
of
they
them.
do it? How did you do it?
Little by little, the movie, the way people look at him, the way he performs, the way he messed up. He doesn't do the typical cartoon animation kind of acting from one pose to another. He's not animated. He's moving along. It's hard to find a good pose for him. Something I learned from dramatic movies. I have to mess him up. When he runs, he trips, and when he hit the dog, the Hulk dog, he slips, and that's the hardest thing for them to do. He's not working for poses, but he's leaving for motion pictures. That's extremely hard to do. Then when I still complain about his reality, island people took the color out, make it black and white. He said, look, he has more detail than an actor. He's more real than an actor. And once you put him green, he's not real. They have to carefully put in layers and layers of maps of textures and translucencies, and have all function and dysfunction in certain ways to bring his life.
And what did the audience testing tell you? I mean, did you have to change the ending? You have to do anything? Did they
No,
I can tell you one thing: they did not want him to die. Right?
You might not want to believe this, but the movie was never tested. Nobody's seen it.
Is that right?
Yeah. I made an agreement with the studio. I don't want to test it, because I know it's not going to be finished when you test it. Yeah. There'll be so many holes, it will be unfair. And then that's add another layer of stress. Is you don't know what's going to happen.
This is a silly question, but you had final cut.
Yeah.
So this is your movie. You made the movie you wanted to make.
Yes. It's not really about studio control.
Yeah.
It's about how do I come to terms with the genre and the public out there. That's the real stress. There's to a point nobody knows what to do with the film, and I have to bring it together with consciousness. And James Shem is my friend,
he's a
producer. He's a writer. Yeah. Like midpoint, he's telling me something. I try to keep myself awake. Is that he said you don't have to be responsible, but you have to be reasonable. So the last 3 months
about.
Deliver a big movie, you have to come to terms with the genre, hit the notes.
Right. If you're going to play in the game, you got to play the game.
Yeah. You can bend it, but don't break it. And yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
The
you.
Hawk opens nationwide on Friday, June 20th. My pleasure to have Ang Lee here. He doesn't do many of these interviews, and I'm always happy that he includes me on his
Thank you.
stuff.
It's a
Thank you.
pleasure. It's an honor.